Let's continue with the subject of the couple of Genesis. Let's follow this theme that speaks about the first couple, Adam and Eve. Let's watch another part from the soap opera Genesis that shows some interaction between Adam and Eve that illustrates today's theme. Please.
Adam, where are you?
I heard your voice and I was afraid because I was naked and I hid myself.
Who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten from the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat?
It was her. The woman whom you gave to be with me. She gave me of the tree and I ate it.
Why did you do this, my daughter?
It was the serpent. It deceived me. That's why I ate it. Are you okay? Why did he do that to you?
You tell me why.
You speak as if it were only my fault. You ate of the fruit too, didn't
Because
you?
you convinced me. Who came up with this cursed idea?
It was the serpent. It was him.
Do you see? This is what gets on my nerves. You don't admit your mistake.
And by any chance do you admit yours?
Leave me alone.
When they ate the fruit and saw that they were naked, they ran to take leaves from the fig tree so they could cover their nudity. And when they heard God's voice in the garden, they ran and hid from God. And when God asked, "Why are you hiding from me?" "Oh no, we heard your voice and we're scared because we were naked." And God asked, "But who told you that you were naked? Did you eat from the tree that I told you not to eat from?" And then the man said, The woman that you gave me the fruit to eat." And she said, "What?"
It was the serpent.
"It was a serpent." The serpent deceived me. We can call this the curse of excuses. The curse of excuses is literally in our blood.
What did he say?
It really is a curse that the human being carries already in the blood of our parents, Adam and Eve. If you see, when you have young children, 3 or 4 years old, and they are doing something. They're doing something bad. And you arrive and tell them off. You go to argue with that child and tell them off for what they've done. If there's another child there, they will point their finger and say it was him. And if you have a child, you know this. Yes or no? A child. They never saw this. But they already have this curse of excuses in their blood. No, it wasn't me. Look, if it was me, there was a reason because so-and-so pressured me, because so-and-so led me to do it. This is a curse that has plagued the human being until today. And this affects everyone, not only people in relationships, but everyone. Something that is very rare to see is someone admitting their blame, taking ownership of their responsibility, saying, I made a mistake. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. And full stop. Normally, even when a person says sorry, there's a comma. Oh, I'm sorry. Comma. But, and then comes the explanation. Justifying the mistake, the pretext of why the person made the mistake. So the human being has turned into an expert in justifying their errors instead of recognizing them. And when you bring this reality into your relationship or to your love life, because this affects singles and those who are married, then you have a total disaster. Because what is most common in a couple's life is what you just saw. Just change the characters. It's not Adam and Eve anymore. It's Paul and Anna. It's Edgar and Marcia. Whatever the names, it's the same story. He doesn't admit to his mistakes. She doesn't admit hers. They stay there pointing out each other's mistakes, and this ping pong never ends.
And it's very interesting because we also have another way to deal with the problems, which is the following. I could even be wrong. It's not I made a bigger mistake. They say I could have made a mistake, but you know.
Or this, if I made a mistake, I'm sorry.
But
My favorite, if I made a mistake, I'm sorry.
But the problem is with excuses is that when you don't recognize your mistake, you don't change. So the one who suffers more with the excuse is the one who is giving the excuse, because sometimes you give an excuse thinking that you're protecting yourself from that person getting upset with you. So you think that you're kind of protecting yourself. I made a mistake, but you also weren't at home to help me. So let's kind of brush it off. But when you kind of brush it off on your end, you don't recognize that you have a problem. So it's like you're saying, like you had to have a credit to make a mistake, because you're always going to blame someone. You're always going to have an excuse. You made that mistake. So people who always give an excuse are people who don't change. And you see in this story, in the soap opera of Adam and Eve, you saw this, that they had problems in their relationship many years because neither of them wanted to recognize that they both made a mistake. So much, Eve made a mistake, and also Adam. Eve, she gave ears to the serpent. Really, she did. She was not wise. She let herself be deceived, and she made a mistake. But he also did, because he ate of the fruit. He didn't need to eat of the fruit. So both of them made a mistake. You always need to evaluate your mistake, because when you say, oh, I made a mistake, but Eve gave me the fruit. So you're kind of living that mistake. The mistake is still there. Nobody's fixing it. It's still between you and the person who you love. But it's not leaving. That problem there is not going anywhere. And as long as you don't say, I made a mistake, I accept my mistake, I was deceiving, I betrayed, I had a bad character, I was a liar, until you don't realize and accept what you did, you're not going to come down to reality. You're not going to see how much of a mistake you made. Oh, I lied, but it's because you always argue with me. So it's not that bad, right? I can lie because you're always going to argue. So you're not going to change. But if you say, look, I am a liar. I was a liar. I lied. I really lied. I had bad character with you. It hurts to say that. It weighs for you to say that. It's hard. You're not going to want to say that all the time. You're going to want to change because that mistake, it's so heavy on you to keep saying it all the time. You know, I lied. I was wrong. For you to keep saying that. You're not going to do that. So when you accept your mistake, then it gives us the chance, the opportunity to change. It helps us to recognize, wow, this mistake, I really need to remove it from my life because it's really hurting me.
Yeah, the first step to change is to recognize the error, that there was an error, there was blame. If you don't recognize this, you will never change. But this is a curse. Understand this. All of us suffer from this curse. You will only overcome this curse if you recognize that it exists and you face this through repentance, through humility. You confront this inclination that's inside of you, that's in your blood, to cast the blame at somebody else. The truth is that when they sinned before, back then, until they sinned, they were innocent. When they sinned, they lost their innocence. So the human being, until today, fights and desperately seeks to return to that innocence. The human being, until today, desperately seeks innocence. The human being seeks freedom from blame. Humans want peace within themselves. But you won't have peace within you by casting the blame on somebody else. On the contrary, peace only comes when you reconcile. When you recognize your mistake, you seek for repentance and forgiveness, and then peace comes. And not commit the same mistake. But while you excuse the mistakes and you look for a scapegoat, you look for someone or something to be responsible for your misery, for your disgrace, for your suffering, or for somebody else's suffering that you impose on somebody else. So you will never have peace. But look how this happens on a day-to-day basis in practice. So we have, because of this curse, we have husbands who come to their wives and say, well, you are this and that and the other. And the wife says, no, but you're also this, that, and the other. This is the normal in whichever marriage discussion. One pointing at the other. It's really difficult when we are counseling couples. Really difficult. I think this has never happened in all the years that we've been advising couples, for the couples to sit in front of us and one of them to say, look, I recognize that I am this, I'm that, and the other. And I need to change. No. Normally, they start by attacking. They even get the point of asking, okay, who's going first? Who is going first? They want to ask who is going to go first because they're going to use us as an audience to hear the attacks one against the other. It's like this. And our work stops trying to show both each other's mistakes, their individual errors, their own mistakes, the mistakes that only they can change, never those of their partner. So husbands blaming wives, divorced and blaming the ex. No, because my ex, the fault always lies with my ex. The single person blames what? The single says, men nowadays. So the men are to blame. That's why she's single. The single men, women nowadays. So the women are to blame. So the other person is always to blame. The single woman comes to church, here to the therapy of love, and she looks around. There aren't any nice men in this place. That is to say, she's single. She doesn't think it has anything to do with her. It's because there are no men in this place. There isn't any nice man here. The excuse is that there are no nice men. So we have to find men to fill this place for to choose. It's our fault. Are you understanding? It's our fault. So you see, one blaming the other, one casting the blame at the other, one trying to find reasons for their suffering in the other. The son blames the father. Oh, because my mother was that, my dad was never around, my mother was like this, like that. The person blames the past, always looking for someone to pin the blame on. Look, here it is. The reason for my suffering is here. I'm pinning the blame on this hook here that I found to justify my suffering. You have to understand that this is an inclination. This is inside you. This is inside me. It's inside of all of us. No one is free from this curse. Only those who recognize that this curse exists and through intelligent faith, they deal with it. You rise above it and you have the power to overcome. Don't forget that the reason why Jesus came to this world was exactly to deal with our blame. He came to this world to bring forgiveness and give us the power to overcome ourselves. So when you use intelligent faith, you have the power to free yourself from this curse. But this is here, inside. Understand that this is more common than you can imagine. Not only in relationships. Human beings are so addicted to blaming someone else that if they are poor, they blame the rich. If they're unemployed, it's because it's the government. It's because the country. It's because it's this way, it's that way. There's always someone else's responsibility for your suffering. So in one way or another, this brings them a type of immediate relief instantaneously. Look, I'm suffering, but it has nothing to do with me. I'm suffering because I'm a victim of this person, and that person. So this brings false relief because in reality, it doesn't relieve anything. You remain just as blameful as you've always been for what is happening in your life. So, if things have happened that weren't your fault, you were abused when you were an infant, you are a victim of abuse, you grew up in a dysfunctional family, unstructured, you're not to blame for this. But what you are going to do with this is your responsibility. Until when are you going to keep casting the blame on this fact, the responsibilities of your attitudes? What have you done today? Oh, I'm jealous because I was betrayed in my other relationship, so I'm afraid I will be betrayed again in this relationship. Is that the fault of your current husband, your current wife, that you were betrayed by your ex? But you act as if it was. So this person has to pay for the other mistakes of the ex. So until when will you keep blaming your ex instead of healing yourself and restoring yourself and overcoming this betrayal that you suffered, this distrust? That is to say, when you take it upon yourself to grab the reins of your life, of your situation, and say, I will resolve this. I will change in this. I will do this. It's when you take this on yourself that you really start to change in your life and in your marriage.
Like you were saying, the person can feel a relief, a sense of relief. The problem is that that relief is not going to solve your problem. Maybe you're even saying, you're making me feel bad. You're wanting me to leave from here with a heavy weight on my shoulders. No, on the contrary, what we're giving to you right now is a way for you to resolve this weight that you're carrying. Because when you accept your fault, your mistake, your problem, you're not going to keep it anymore. You're going to do something with it. That's where the secret lies. Because while you're not accepting that it's there, that you're like this, it's going to stay there, being part of your life, affecting you and your spouse, in your love life. It's going to be there. You're going to feel a real sense of relief because you're not at fault, but the problem's not going to go anywhere. But when you accept and when you have that responsibility, when you accept it, you accept the responsibility of that problem. And then you're going to do something with it. You're not going to leave it there. Yes, I accept that I am a controller. And now I need to change. So when you accept, then you're going to do something about it. It's difficult to assume to accept that problem. Yes, it hurts. It hurts to realize that my husband is right. It hurts to accept that. But it's that kind of pain that you remove the Band-Aid. You know that you need to go through it. The Band-Aid is there stuck on the hairs on your body, but you know that you're going to go through a little pain, but you remove it right away, quickly. It's like that. You accept it, you face embarrassment, it's humiliating sometimes, but now I'm going to do something about it, and you're going to resolve that problem. And the other person that perhaps was betrayed or you lied and all to them, they also are going to do the same, because in our marriage, we never had betrayals or anything like that, but we made a lot of mistakes. And we had this problem. I would say, I'm needy because Renato doesn't give me attention. And he would say, I don't give you attention because you're annoying. So meaning the problem was there in our marriage, and nothing was being resolved. I was a slave to my neediness because it's not my problem, right? It's his problem. So if he doesn't change, it's not going to resolve my problem, and I'm going to continue like this. So the day that I accepted, you know what? I am insecure. I'm insecure as a person. The neediness is inside of me. It's not in him. I need to fix this. When I accepted this, so then I stopped waiting on Renato. I stopped telling him, you need to give me attention to resolve my problem. I stopped. I accepted, and I said, what am I going to do about this? Oh, I'm going to seek with God and seek with God my value. I'm going to develop my talents. I'm going to stop looking for in Renato something that I needed to have inside of myself. I resolved this neediness I had. And being able to resolve this, I was able to resolve what I was asking Renato for 12 years, attention.
I couldn't blame you for being annoying, right?
Yeah, because I stopped being annoying as well.
She stopped being annoying, so I no longer had excuses to give. So I looked at myself, because where I was casting blame for my errors, look at how insidious this curse is, this curse of blame. Look how subtle it is. I was a pastor. I considered myself an excellent husband. But when she would annoy me for something that I really didn't desire in a marriage, I cast the blame on my way. I would say, oh, it's just my way. You want me to be somebody that I'm not. You met me like this. Look at how strong these arguments are. Who is going to argue with someone that says, but it's my way, I was born this way? How can you argue? Well, really, you were born like this. You're not to blame. You're not to blame. But we change. We are born, and we've changed so much since we were born for so many reasons. But for your partner, you say you can't change? We change at school. We change for your boss. We change for a client.
You change your language. Even a new language you learned.
Oh, yes, we had to learn different languages. It's true. I had to learn to communicate in different languages because of my work those days. I didn't know how to speak these languages, but I had to learn. So we changed to make things work. We weren't born like this, not even speaking Portuguese. So we change from the time we are born to adapt to the situations in life. But for our partners, there are people that say they can't. In reality, it's the curse of blame. My way. I use this card because I use this card my way. In a way, the argument ends. But nothing had been resolved. When I understood, hold on, it's my way. Yes, it's true. I'm being honest. It was my way. But can't I do something about this way? Can't I do something to get better? And I understood that yes, I could. Like very few do. I could. And that's what I decided to do. So I stopped with the excuses and started to make a way instead of my way. I changed. So this is in the blood. Understand. If you don't understand that, in your blood, in your veins, this blame curse runs, is behind the reason why many things in your life don't change. You will never be free of it. You will continue to suffer because change only starts with recognition of blame. This is what you have to start to do. Stop waiting for the other person to change. Stop putting conditions for your change on someone or on a favorable circumstances. Start doing what you can do now with what you have. Look at yourself and recognize where you need to change. This is how you'll be free of this curse. Okay?